What's going on, everybody? Tanner here with another video. Hope you're all having an amazing and productive day so far. So in today's video, I'm actually going to walk through how I've been able to scale during these crazy times of everything going on. We're going to keep this, to 5 to 10 minutes, walk through on my computer, some of the things that I've done to make sure that I'm still able to scale during these times. Things with shipping, Facebook strategies, having data backed up, all that good stuff. So I'm going to go through on my computer here. We'll walk through everything. And then if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll make sure to get back to you and give you a proper answer. So let's go ahead, get on my computer. All right, so scaling without issues. You're always going to have issues when you're scaling, whether it's during these crazy times or completely separate. There's always going to be issues with Facebook, your store, whatever, and that's just business. You have a problem, you solve it. Then a bigger problem comes up, you solve it, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So we're going to go through 4 main things that I want to cover today, which is shipping, higher order values, backups, and CBO campaigns. These are the things I've been focusing on mostly during these times that have helped give me the ability to scale. So the first thing I want to go through today is shipping during COVID-19. So obviously things are delayed, things are more expensive during these times. At least for myself, I've seen product costs go up a lot and shipping costs just in general. Post is essentially just shipping from China, normal, slower, a couple of weeks to get to the United States. Number 2 is a good one right now, which is USPS special line, which takes about a week to a week and a half. And the third one, which is inventory, is pretty simple and straightforward. You have inventory within the United States at a warehouse or a fulfillment center. So here's what I'm doing right now with all this going on. I have different stores in different situations, but for the stores that are still just drop shipping somewhat normally from China, I'm doing post as the standard delivery option, being free, and giving them the USPS special line option at checkout when the customers are choosing their shipping. So for example, if it costs me $3 extra to ship through special line, then I'll sell it for $4.97 or $4.52 or some random number. So I'm still making a couple of bucks there on the shipping, and then you can increase it by weight, so you can edit in your own Shopify settings. If you have them order more than 1 unit, then it'll double that USPS special line pricing, and then you'll be making 5 to 10 bucks. Obviously it depends on the product, but inventory is pretty straightforward. Like I said, some stores that have been doing well for a while, and even when all this stuff started happening, we still had inventory there being fulfilled, and it's still there, and we're able to bring over inventory as we need it, which is nice, because then we're sitting under a week in shipping times for total delivery from placing the order to it being at their doorstep. And obviously quality control is very important, and that gives us that control of having the inventory here. And the main thing, people are gonna have questions about the shipping times and stuff, just like normal. A lot of people don't pay attention to it, but when you're running your ads, if you're not filtering the comments, hiding negative ones and responding to, just normal comments, questions, positivity, things like that, it'll make an impact for sure. If you just have a ton of negative comments because something isn't clear on your ad or your store, whatever, then that's going to affect your performance, because people are going to see that ad in their feed. If they see all those negative comments, that's going to instantly deter them from wanting to buy. So now, how to back up your data. This is probably going to be the most important thing that we talk about here in this video, because it's very important. A lot of people don't do it. Most people, I'm sure, maybe even yourself, you have a store, but you have 1 ad account, 1 Facebook page, and 1 pixel, and that's it. That's what you're running off of. But for me, I like to have things as spread out as possible to make sure if something goes down, I'm still safe in making sales. So for me, from the start, I always have at least 2 pixels, and I prefer the app. I'm not getting paid for this, Trackify X. And to break down what's on this slide, just to give you a little spiel of what I do, I have multiple different Facebook profiles from people that I use. And those are accounts that are not brand new, that I just set up with a new email, but accounts that have been around for a while that I'm getting from different people. And what I do under those is have a couple of business managers under each of those Facebook profiles. Then under those profiles, I have multiple ad accounts sitting for whatever store I might need it for. And I like to keep the pixels in separate Facebook profiles and business managers. I know it's getting a little bit confusing. It's just a whole big spider web of things going on, but it keeps everything separate, because if one entire Facebook profile gets restricted, then I have this other one over here that has a pixel that's been on the store the whole time that is not restricted. So now all that data from that store, instead of it being locked up and not being able to be shared, then I can make all the audiences from this other pixel that's collected all of the same data. And from there, you have other ad accounts you can use if one was disabled, whatever it is. So even in the same business manager, if I want to launch another ad account for the same store, I'm going to have a new page, another pixel being used, a new ad account, obviously, and then a new payment method and a new URL. So all of these things on here are things that I'm changing. So I'm keeping things as separate as possible because maybe Facebook disables an ad account in that business manager for a store and they know that URL that I've been using. And if I go and use that same URL on an ad account, then maybe they'll see that and flag that one as well. So some of this stuff may seem a little bit overboard, but I'd rather be safe than sorry with my income and my businesses. I want them to be set, still making money, and making sure we're not getting screwed over just because Facebook's AI is flagging some things for whatever's going on. Most of the time it's an error and I'll dispute it and then they'll put it back up. But it's annoying that, having that period of time, whether it's a couple hours or a couple of days, where your ads aren't running and things are locked up. If you have a page that gets, negative reviews put on it, then you'll get a penalty, and that penalty will affect your ads performance a lot. So by having separate pages with different names and then having the different URL and then a different payment method and different pixel, and different profiles and different ad accounts, all that stuff is separate. So obviously you don't need to do all this as specific as I do, but these are the precautions that I take and that I've seen be beneficial to me. Like even just this morning, I woke up, I have a store that's been doing around $2,000 a day in revenue with about a 20% margin for the past 3 days. So nothing crazy, but it's making some money and it's building up. It started from scratch, less than a month ago. So what's going on is I woke up this morning, the ad account was disabled, the main ad account. So that main ad account was disabled. And what do? Dispute it, of course. And then they said they weren't going to be able to re-enable it, which is a very bad sign. But what I did yesterday already, was I launched a new ad account for that store and a new profile with a new page, a new payment method, new ad accounts, all that stuff where it's completely separate. And it's running today with over a 4 ROAS. So sometimes we even see your backups, be more profitable than your main ad account or ad accounts that you're using. So hopefully I'll get that main ad account back because that would suck to lose it. But again, I have these backups. That's what all this is for. Instead of just having something disabled and have a negative mindset about it, I'd rather just take these precautions, and if something does go down, I'm good to go. I'm not going to stress it. I'm just going to deal with the situation and make the best out of it. So I think that's enough for backing up your data. Let's move to the next thing, which is what I've been doing for increasing my average order value. So there's a couple of things that are doing really, really well right now that I would prefer for you depending on your product. Number one, shipping. Obviously, you have a standard option for post, and then depending on your supplier, if they have USPS special line, then you can offer that and then just add a few bucks on top of what it would cost you, so you're making some profit on it as well. And quantity breaks are very, very important. I recommend that for pretty much any store that's selling something that, even if it's something people don't really need more than one of, people will still buy it. You cater it as something, buy one for your friend, your relative, whatever it is, just so you can offer that incentive using percentages off. So there's several different apps that you can use. There's not one that I would consider my favorite, but I always like to structure it as just showing the percentage off instead of saying, let's say originally it's $20 a unit. They'll say, all right, $20 a unit if you buy one, $18.52 if you buy two, things like that. I'd rather just show the percentage and it's automatically applied at checkout. So if they add 2 to their cart, then they'll see that discounted off and be more likely to purchase then and not go back and change things up. Because most people aren't going to do the math. If they see 5% off, they're not going to calculate it in their phone. They're going to add those items to the cart and see how much of a discount it is. And if it seems good enough to them, then they'll buy it. The next one is warranty. If you can offer this, it can be a big thing. Like I said, charge 10% of your selling price, which is what I do, depending on what the item is. But it's sort of like that insurance game where you're charging people all this money for insurance, but your claims are so low that you're profiting more on charging the actual warranty service than what you're paying out to cover that warranty. So it's just another thing you can incorporate into your store to get things rolling nicely. Now, the last thing I want to go over is CBO campaigns. I'm going to keep it pretty simple here, but talk about some things most people aren't talking about, which is one, aim to get out of learning and into active. So what's going to happen nowadays when you launch your ads, especially a CBO campaign, you're going to see, you have them scheduled, they're in review, and then they go active. But what's going to happen after they start spending some money is you're going to see they go into a learning phase. It's going to say that as the delivery status on your ads in the ad set level. So it'll say learning, and what that means is basically that the ad sets are learning and optimizing and seeing, as they spend the money, if they're getting sales, if it's reaching what they need to reach, whatever, just how Facebook's algorithm works. But what your goal is to have those go back into active and not into learning limited. So I'm sure if you run a lot of Facebook ads, you've seen ad sets go into learning limited. And basically that happens whenever Facebook just puts you in the learning phase for a certain amount of time, usually about 5 to 7 days, and it doesn't optimize how Facebook thinks it should, and it doesn't think it can continue making those profitable sales at that budget, with that targeting, then they'll put you into Learning Limited. Now, I've had profitable ad sets in Learning Limited, but they don't last as long as active ones do. When something goes out of the learning phase and into the active phase, that means it's optimizing correctly. Facebook sees it's making sales and knows how to keep getting sales at that, profitable cost per purchase, whatever it may be at. And the second thing here I see a lot of people have issues with is they launch CBOs and they flop and they don't know why. Now, most of the time I'm seeing this happen is because people are putting 10, 15, 20 ad sets into a CBO, which, don't get me wrong, sometimes will work. I've been doing no more than 3 ad sets per CBO campaign. I've tested some over, but the ones with 3 or less have always worked better than the bigger ones, because now the CBO campaign is focusing that specific budget you set, whether it's $50 a day or $100, into optimizing those ad sets. Now, the way that I set my budgets for CBOs are based on an ad set. So the way I scale is I'm working with ad set level budgets to start out, and if something's working really well, then I'll duplicate those into a CBO and scale with that and try different things with grouping of different types of, add to cart, lookalikes, or initiate checkouts, or cold interest, or just one specific targeting, duplicated 3 times into a CBO. But basically, let's say if that ad set's at $10 a day, I'm going to duplicate that into a CBO 3 times, and it'll be at $30 a day CBO. So basically just collecting the amount of your ad set level budget to reach that CBO budget. I know it sounds sort of confusing the way I said it. And the last thing I want to go over here for the CBOs is wait for consistency. Now, I would say this for ad sets as well, but especially CBOs. I know people will launch a CBO campaign at $50 a day and it works great, and then they duplicate it, before it's even gone a full day of running. What I like to do is wait at least 2 to 3 days of seeing consistency before duplicating it. I know scaling's a little bit confusing for most people that are getting into Facebook ads or making a few sales. But for me, I really enjoy this. Probably my favorite part of the Facebook ads is just learning how do I multiply from $100 a day to 1,000, 1,000 to 5,000, then 5 to 10,000, and just continuing to go up. So if you guys have any questions about scaling or want to seek my help for scaling with your Facebook ads, go ahead and shoot me an email, ads@tannerplanis.com. Just shoot me a message with a little bit of your situation of what you have going on right now with your Facebook ads in your store, and we'll talk and see if it makes sense. So hopefully this video helped you out. If you have questions, leave them below. And again, if you need help scaling, go ahead, shoot me an email, ads@tannerplanis.com. So thanks guys for watching the video, and hope to see you guys soon. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.